This is my Uncle Hartzel. Uh, when were you born, Uncle Hartzel?
Where was I born?
Yeah, when?
I was born in 1923 between Middle Fork River and Hanging Run Creek.
Okay.
And we went to school, had 2 miles and there to go to school, and we had about 4 or 5 creeks we had to cross before we got to school, called Old Laurel Point School.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked before we went to school, and after we come home, we still had work to help on the farm. Down through the years, uh, Depression times, things were a little rough, but not like it's going to be.
What do you remember about the Depression? What sticks in your
I
mind?
remember quite a bit. There wasn't much to do. The farmer, and you couldn't raise potatoes or corn. You couldn't sell them, produce anything and sell it. And most generally would work for a corn or something like that. The old people would, or trade work.
And trade work, okay.
Work for one another, or come and work for a bushel of corn or something like that, potatoes or whatever. But we was raised on an old rocky farm between Hanging Run and Middle Fork River, right down put near in the V.
What kind of wages did you make back then?
Oh my God, the first job I ever had when I become 15 years old, first job, but when I got my Social Security card, I made 17 cents an hour.
17
That's what
cents.
they paid for a sawmill, 17 cents an hour. And before that, we worked for people hoeing corn, and they give us 50 cents for 10 hours. We worked 10 hours a day for 50 cents. That's the kind of wages we got paid back in them days. We'd always wait till we got 2 of them. We wore them old overalls. We'd put it down there through the jingle, and then run home like a bunch of Indians. Then we also was born in an old log house, which is torn down now, with the old homemade shingles on the roof of that old house. And Dad kept cattle and sheep and all kinds of hogs. He never knew had anything to eat. I'd plenty to eat. Only thing, the big problem, we had to take our grain all to the flour mills and corn mills and stuff like that, get it ground for flour and corn meal. We done that once a year. And
You had to take it a long ways?
maybe fill a 60-gallon barrel full of flour, hold us till next summer.
And how far did you have to go to have it ground?
Oh my gosh, we went clear to Keesing's mill a lot of times, and the other time we went to old Fisher's mill down next to Philippi with a road wagon and a team of horses. And I also can remember before that the Ogden State Park Road was a mud road at one time. I can remember that real well. An old horse and belly would drag in the mud down through here. And the WPA started, and they napped all these old roads with rock. And for many years there wasn't no bus run out here either, till they blacktopped it, and then they blacktopped the road and the bus run here, and also just the flats that run through that country. Mm-hmm. So that's the way it was back then. But it wasn't really that rough. We just learned to work.
What do you remember about the war days in the 40s, the Second World War? What do you remember about it?
What, World War II?
Yes.
I didn't know much. I wasn't in the war, but my brothers was, and over in Denver, where they were in World War II. And Eisenhower was a big shot over Denver. I do know that,
Mm-hmm.
General Eisenhower. And then when the war was over, they run Eisenhower for presidency.
Right.
Back in them days.
Can you tell us a little bit about your family? I know you raised
Well, I can tell you quite a bit of that. There's 5 of us boys and 4 girls, 9 of us all untold. All right, so how we were raised in that old log house, it had enough of stairs in it, not even sealed or nothing. And we had an old fireplace in the kitchen when the stovepipe run into the same chimney, and a little coal grate in the front room, and you'd put in there freeze to death, only in the kitchen.
burn one side and freeze the other, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you take a grape, you have to get it right up towards a bit warm. Yeah.
And now today we think lowering the thermostat a couple of degrees is really roughing it, don't we?
I tell you, it's changed so much today, Fred, that I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
You don't?
These people back in, their children would learn to work and do something. Today, all they get is an education and go to school and sit and watch television.
Mm-hmm.
And if they tear up something, they don't spank their hind ends, they just say, you don't do that, and forget about it. Let them do as they please. Back in, the hardest whipping I ever got in my life, back at the old homestead, Dad kept honeybees. And one Sunday, there's a big swarm landing in the old rusted apple tree there by the building. And Dad said to me, he said, Hartzel, go get me the handsaw. So I went out through there moping like I was just about half dead. And by that time, that limb had broke off and the bees had all fell on Dad. And he took that handsaw and wrapped it around them overalls and was just sung up a tune. That's the hardest whipping I ever got. Over them honeybees. He said, when I say you to go get something, I mean to go in a hurry. Yeah, that's the way it was.
Yeah, they'd get you for child abuse now, wouldn't they?
You better believe it. Yeah.
Let's see. You said you wasn't in the war. Do you remember anything about in the 50s, the Korean War?
Oh yeah, I remember all that. I've read about it and heard about it, all of it, but it's something that, I don't even think about anymore.
Mm-hmm.
War.
Mm-hmm.
Just many boys got killed. I do know one time that we worked at a log camp back in 1941 when the war broke out, and most of the sawmills were owned by the family. Well, when World War II broke out, they started pulling the boys off to the war, and their dad had to bring their old sawmills in home.
Mm-hmm.
And oh God, I worked with, I think about 6 boys that all got killed as soon as you got over there.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was, Hayward Wagner. He just stepped off a ship and got killed.
Mm-hmm.
Stepped on a
landmine,
or whatever you want to call them. And then there's a lot of boys we work with in the mountains. They're killed. One of them got his leg shot off. Lawrence Moore. And she was pretty darn tough back in. Only thing we just worked hard.
Well, and we also believed in serving our country.
Oh yeah, you better believe it.
We live free today because a lot of people died to give us this freedom.
Absolutely. We're living today in a day of trying time.
Mm-hmm.
To try and test.
Well, you remember even in the Second World War, and even that there are a lot of movie stars fought in combat. But today they think they're too good to do that.
And I heard a lot of them talk about even the Civil War. That they still got papers today of back in the Civil War who had stayed and raised food for the army boys. Why the rest of them went off to war, and they left so many of them home to do keep the food to go on.
Mm-hmm.
In World War, Civil War.
Well, few people realize that with the Civil War, we killed more people than in the First and Second World War right here in our own country. But history doesn't tell you that.
Well, it's just like this. It's just remembering the truth. The truth will set you free. If you don't know the truth,
Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is my Uncle Hartzel Suder. He's in his 80s and he's still just as mean as ever.